Next, from Springfield, we talk with former Governor Pat Quinn on the day his official portrait was unveiled. It will be held in the state capitol along with the other governors of Illinois. He tells us how the elements of the portrait came about and why he refers to it as a 21st century portrait. This runs about 6 minutes. Governor Pat Quinn, thanks for joining us again on the Illinois Channel. Great to see you. It's been a while since we have a chance to talk to you. What have you been up to?
I believe in the Illinois Channel. I think it's a good way to get information, factual information from people in government and people outside of government. And that's kind of what I was trying to do with my portrait. Illinois law has a portrait of every governor on the wall of the Hall of Governors in the state capitol. It's a great honor to be governor and a privilege, really. But I wanted to make sure it was a 21st century portrait for us. And what we did is we made it interactive. And if people go to governorquinnportrait.org, you can use your cursor and learn a lot about the times that I was governor and the issues I addressed and tried to take on. And I think it's a good way to promote civics and democracy and also celebrate people who work hard and try their very best.
As we look at the portrait, there's some 41 items that you conferred with the portrait artist and said things you wanted to have included. The books, which may or may not show up, I mean, we have names on them that were important to you, the books. Tell us about just some of the items and why they were so important.
There's actually 44 items. I didn't know what a found item was until the man who did the portrait, Bill Chambers, he said, you want to put something in the portrait besides just yourself to symbolize your time. So I came up with 44 different things, and a lot of them this is a bill that I signed for a referendum on minimum wage in 2014. So some of the folks who were there that day have their portrait on the wall of the state capitol as well. My mom and dad were married during World War II. They were married for 65 years. My dad was in the Navy, and so obviously I owe a great debt of gratitude to my parents and their values. And my sons were with me all the way, and this is them scribbling in their notebooks while I'm talking at some political meeting, and the Bible, of course, baseball. Well, this cup has the bridge across the Mississippi River near East St. Louis. We built that during my time as governor. It cost about $700 million, and many good men and women were part of building that bridge. And we built a lot of other things during my time. It was called Illinois Jobs Now, a bill that I signed into law for a investment in public works and infrastructure, roads and bridges, and important schools. And I think it's important that we honor all of those who did the work, who are on the front line. And there are videos in each of these items that people can look at and learn a little bit about a law that was signed and passed. I signed the law to have marriage equality in Illinois, a very important day. I had over 2,000 or 3,000 people were there, and I brought up Abraham Lincoln's desk to sign that particular bill. So it was an honor to be governor, to have the opportunity to address the people and sign laws that were important, and also to work with everyday folks who were on the front line for all of us.
I know in the back here we have the flag for the Gold Star families, and people, when you were lieutenant governor and then as governor, on both sides of the aisle admired the fact that you would go to the funeral of every Illinois service member who was killed in the war.
Well, Abraham Lincoln said during the Civil War that it's the duty of all of us on the home front to take good care of those who have borne the battle, take care of their widows and their orphans. And so we have information about our Gold Star families with the Gold Star banner here, but also our flag indicates all the things we on the home front can do to help those who are deployed, whether Iraq or Afghanistan or anywhere else in the world. I was Commander-in-Chief of the Illinois National Guard as governor, and I went to both Iraq and Afghanistan. We had 3,700 National Guard members deployed in Afghanistan, and I went to see them, and it was a real honor to meet them.
We wanted to focus on that just so people are probably curious, what are you doing these days with your time? And
well, I said today during the unveiling of the portrait that the heart of America is the heart of a volunteer. So I'm volunteering. I volunteer for a lot of causes. Some of them have to do with veterans or school children, feeding the hungry. I believe in that. I worked a great deal when I was governor with the Greater Chicago Food Depository and all the other food depositories across the state, the food pantries. So I think volunteering is good for the soul, and it's good for all of us.
I know we're here for the unveiling. You got a lot of friends to talk to, but maybe we can follow up with you at another time and have a longer conversation.
Oh, yeah. Well, I really want to say very good work that you do every day, Terry. I've known you a long time. Getting information to people in a democracy is indispensable to the functioning of a true democracy. And I did in my portrait here have a clipboard, and I used a lot of clipboards to get a lot of signatures over many years. And I think part of democracy is passing petitions, putting issues on the ballot. I said today we need to have a binding right of initiative in Illinois, where when people pass petitions, the referendum isn't advisory, but it's a way that people can pass laws that are needed, like raising the minimum wage. So we have a lot more work to do, and I got to live to 102 to pay off my kids' college loans, and I'm going to keep on making the will of the people the law of the land.
I was going to say, you're still a young man, you'll have a lot of time, and we'll look forward to covering you in the future.
All right, thank you, Terry. Good to see you.
Good seeing you.